wish list or concerns that business might have. I'm now joined by the CEO of Business Unity South Africa, Nomatlabiso Majokweni. Thank you very much for joining us on the program. Welcome to you.
Good morning, Peter, and good morning to your viewers out there. And thank you for inviting me to what Vuyo claims to be the best breakfast show in the world.
Undoubtedly. All right. So next week is an important milestone, I guess, in terms of the life of the country, because the ruling party is sitting to generate policy. As business, you'll have an interest in that.
Yes, we do indeed, and we're looking forward to the policy conference starting next week. We have already engaged with the ANC because they have put forward a number of discussion documents. Obviously, for us as business, our interest is mainly in the economic transformation policy documents, and even there, we really as business are saying we should not really be looking at a plethora of new policies, but looking at really strengthening what we currently have, because there are gaps and loopholes with what we currently have in terms of coherence of policies between various departments, particularly with implementation. If there's one thing that what the global economic situation has taught us is the fact that we need to, as things go wrong out there, we need to look at the efficacy and the effectiveness of our own policies. So the strengthening of our policies, the implementation thereof, the certainty that it needs to give business is of paramount importance to us.
Is there anything that you'd like final clarity on? Because, you know, when we pick up the newspapers, we're constantly hearing about nationalization of mines or not, that kind of thing, and also labor laws, should they be relaxed? Is there anything that you need clarity coming out of this conference next week?
Well, in terms of clarity, there are issues with regards to the speed with which we develop policies sometimes. We know about what you are referring to now. The only clarity that we have in as far as that is concerned is the fact that the ANC has decided through its the report, SIMS report, which is state intervention in the mining sector, that nationalization per se, as in acquiring mining assets in South Africa, will not be commercially viable for government because it will cost about R1 trillion, which would basically wipe up the fiscus for the country. So that is in a way, you know, off the discussion table, but we are now giving input towards the SIMS report that the ANC has put forward in this regard. But it doesn't help that is still a report within the political party. It needs to really move into being policy, and government and will engage with it in that manner. So speed of policy formulation is important because it provides certainty, because we need to unlock private sector investment, and this is one of the drivers for unlocking private sector investment.
All right, so you talked about speed of policy formulation and clarity and certainty, but I guess maybe a question for you is there any policy you would like as business?
Well, as I said, we actually, I mean, if you look at the new growth path in terms of the broad agreement that we as social partners have, government, labor, and ourselves, we agree on the broader objectives of what needs to be achieved, addressing unemployment, which is rampant in the country, looking at poverty as well as inequality. Those are the broad objectives that we all agree that they need to be addressed. But we need to then really look at the implementation of the new growth path, but also look at the national development plan, because as a plan it is quite practical. Of course, we've given our input on that, because we're not saying it's perfect as it is, but it is quite a practical document. It is long-term in its planning horizon. It also cuts across various departments in terms of implementation, so we're hopeful that it will address these incoherences in the implementation of policy. So in a nutshell, we really think we need to think along the terms of the National Development Plan as a long-term planning document, because without that, I mean, we really cannot look at the 6% growth, and we need to think far ahead for South Africa to get this economy that is stronger, bigger, and better.
Now, you said that you've engaged with the ANC with the policy documents that have been distributed already. Do you find that they accommodate and listen carefully to the contributions that you make?
We would hope so. We do engage with the African National Congress quite regularly. One thing that we also keep, putting across to them is the fact that it's important that as we introduce policies, to the economy in particular, we need to conduct what is called regulatory impact assessment, because we've seen so many of these policies that really result in unintended consequences. The e-tolling is but one of those. Whilst we do not particularly disagree with the user pay principle, but there are a number of problems there with regards to the cost of collection and what it means really for future infrastructure projects. And infrastructure is one of the stimulants for the economic growth. We need to work together, as partners in that regard. So private-public partnerships are quite important. The ANC needs to extend this mantra that together we can do more, so that it also resonates with the private sector, participation and working together in that regard, because no one single stakeholder can do it alone.
Okay, we're going to have to leave it there, but thank you very much indeed for giving us some insight on the thinking of business ahead of this conference.
Thank you very much, Peter.